Hello and welcome to Spinta. Today we will listen to two friends who plan a weekend festival. They compare places, food, and music. We will hear many useful phrases to compare things and talk about differences and similarities. Listen carefully and relax. This lesson will help you use these phrases in your own conversations.
Okay, Lena, so we have two choices for Saturday. We can use the old town park with food stalls outside, or we can use the community hall with tables, chairs, and a stage. I like both, but I want to think about how each will feel.
Right. The park is open and bright. People can walk around and try different foods. In a similar vein, the outdoor music would feel relaxed and easy. I imagine families sitting on blankets, kids running around, and small bands playing on a low stage.
By the same token, the community hall has a lot of benefits. It is dry if it rains, there is a kitchen we can use, and we can control the sound better for the bands. People will sit at tables and talk. That creates a different kind of energy.
On the other hand, the park brings a casual feeling. Food trucks and pop-up stands make the event feel like a street fair. People move from place to place. It feels lively and free.
A key distinction is the crowd size and movement. In the park, people move around more, they explore. In the hall, people stay in one place more, and they sit and talk. That will change how we plan food lines and seating.
There is a world of difference between a busy outdoor fair with food trucks and a more formal indoor event. In the park, smells and open air add to the experience. In the hall, the sound and seating make it more comfortable for long meals and speeches.
They are poles apart when you think about noise and movement. In the park, the background noise is part of the charm. In the hall, quiet can feel nicer for older guests who want to hear the music clearly.
In contrast to the park, the hall gives us more control. We can set a seating plan, assign tables, and organize a ticketed entry if we need to limit numbers. For a small budget, that is useful.
Similarly, both places let us invite local chefs and musicians. The real difference is how people will move and talk. We can invite the same food vendors to both places, and they will adapt, but the setup will change.
However, when you compare it to the park, the hall costs more for staff and cleaning. We may need to charge a small fee or find sponsors. The park is cheaper, but we must get permits and worry about weather.
There are parallels between the two choices in terms of community feel. Both can bring neighbors together. Both can support local artists and food makers. The main thing is the experience we want to create.
I like the idea of combining both. What if we use the park during the day and the hall in the evening? In the daytime, we can have family activities and food stalls. At night, we could move the main music and dinner inside, if it rains, or if people want a quieter space.
That could work. In a similar vein, we could ask vendors to set up two small stations, one outside and one inside, so guests can switch easily. By the same token, volunteers would need clear instructions so the change is smooth.
On the other hand, moving people in the evening adds more work. We need signs and volunteers to guide guests from the park to the hall. A key distinction will be how we communicate times and places to attendees.
There is a world of difference between clear signs and no signs. If people are confused, they leave early. If we keep things simple, guests stay and enjoy both parts.
They are poles apart in how volunteers feel too. Some volunteers like outdoor activity and moving around. Others prefer a fixed indoor role, like checking tickets at a door. We should ask volunteers which role they prefer.
In contrast to last year, when we only used the park, this plan gives more options. Last year, bad weather canceled one band, and we had no backup. Similarly, having the hall as a backup will help musicians and food vendors feel safer booking the event.
However, when you compare it to renting a bigger indoor venue downtown, our plan is cheaper and more local. The downtown place had better parking, but it felt less like a neighborhood event.
There are parallels between successful small festivals I have seen and what we want. They mix outdoor fun with a cozy indoor area for quieter moments. They use simple maps and friendly volunteers to guide people.
So for food, I suggest we ask 3 food trucks for the park and 3 small caterers for the hall. In a similar vein, we can book 3 bands who can play simple sets both outside and on an indoor stage.
By the same token, we should have a sound check schedule that fits both spaces. Outdoor sound is different, so bands need a short rehearsal outside and another inside. That will keep the sound quality good.
On the other hand, timing will be tight. If the park runs until 6 p.m. and the hall program starts at 7 p.m., we need a clear break. A key distinction is whether we give a 30-minute break or a full hour. A 30-minute break keeps the flow, but an hour helps people move and rest.
There is a world of difference between a short break and a long break for the vendors. A short break means vendors must work fast. A long break lets them rest and cook more food.
They are poles apart when it comes to families. Parents with young kids may prefer a longer break to change diapers and dinner. Teenagers may prefer a short break, so the party keeps moving.
In contrast to a single event, a 2-part event lets us please more people. Similarly, offering both loud and quiet spaces helps guests choose the vibe they like.
However, when you compare it to a big one-place event, our plan asks more of volunteers and vendors. But I think the extra effort will give a better experience for a wider group of people.
There are parallels between good planning and good festivals. Clear maps, nice signs, a place to rest, water stations, and friendly volunteers make people come back next year.
So, shall we make a list? Park permits, hall booking, vendor invites, band schedules, volunteer roles, maps, and signs. Also think about a weather plan and a clear schedule we publish online.
Yes. I will contact the park office and ask about permits. In a similar vein, I will check the hall calendar for the evening. By the same token, I will email the main bands to confirm their availability.
I will reach out to the food trucks and caterers. On the other hand, I will also plan for a few simple indoor dishes if the hall kitchen is small. A key distinction for me is to keep menu options simple so lines move fast.
There is a world of difference between a long food line and a fast-moving one. Fast lines keep people happy and give them more time to enjoy music.
They are poles apart in how much patience people have. If food takes too long, guests leave. If service is quick, they relax and stay.
In contrast to last year, we will make a small map and post it online. Similarly, we will have volunteers at the entrance to hand out printed maps and guide people between park and hall.
However, when you compare it to hiring a full event company, our small team will do many jobs, but we will save money and keep the festival local and friendly.
There are parallels between community events I like and what we plan. They are simple, local, and friendly. People talk to neighbors and try new food. That is what I hope for.
I agree. So final plan. Use the park from noon to 6. Open the hall at 6 for dinner and music. And have a clear 45-minute move window. We will ask vendors and bands to be flexible and give volunteers clear roles.
Perfect. That plan balances outdoor fun and indoor comfort. It also covers weather and different guest needs. Let us make a shared checklist tonight and start contacting people tomorrow.
Great, I feel excited. There are parallels between this plan and small festivals that work well. I think ours will be a hit.
Now I will go through each phrase we used. I will explain what it means, how Michael or Lena used it, and why they used it. In a similar vein means in the same way. Lena uses it when she suggests another idea that is like the first one. She uses it to connect two similar ideas and make the plan feel consistent. By the same token means also, or for the same reason. Michael uses it when he gives another point that supports his idea about the hall. He uses it to add a related reason and strengthen his point. On the other hand, means a different view or opposite idea. Lena uses it to show the park is different from the hall. She uses it to balance the conversation and show both sides. A key distinction is a main difference. Michael uses it when he talks about how people move in each place. He uses it to point out the most important difference to think about. There is a world of difference between means two things are very different. Lena uses it when she compares an outdoor fair to an indoor event. She uses it to show the difference in feeling and atmosphere. They are poles apart means they are very different, like opposite ends. Michael uses it when he talks about noise and movement to show the big difference in experience. In contrast to means unlike or different from. Lena uses it to compare this plan to last year, showing a change and why the hall helps as a backup. Similarly means in a similar way. Michael uses it to link how both places can host local chefs and musicians, showing a shared idea. However, when you compare it to means when you look at one thing next to another, there is a difference. Michael or Lena use it to compare cost, comfort, or parking between options. It helps people think about the difference clearly. There are parallels between means there are similar parts or ideas. Michael uses it when he talks about things that successful festivals share with their plan. He uses it to show common features and reassure Lena. Each phrase helps the listeners follow the choices and see reasons for each option. They link ideas, show contrast, or point out strong differences. In the conversation, the phrases make the plan clearer and show both positive and negative points. Use them when you compare places, plans, or feelings with friends. Thanks for listening. Try these phrases when you compare two things in English. Say them in your own short talks or messages. Practice with a friend and you will feel more confident. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the Spinta channel for more English lessons.